This is On Record. I am Onyipriye Krumale. We are live on Twitter at High Impact 1021 FM. We are also live on YouTube at High Impact 102.1 FM. On Record, we discuss the actions, the inactions of government, the ministries, departments, and agencies, as well as business and health affairs that shape our worldview. The program also encapsulates persons, institutions, and personalities that make decisions that affect the lives of people one way or the other. And then we give you, our listeners, the opportunity to call into the program and ask questions from our guests on the topic of discussion. Now, the place of youth in Nigerian politics and leadership position is one of the unending conversations we've been having in On Record, and we have dedicated a series to this discourse. On the 27th of January, we spoke with the Senior Special Assistant to the APC National Leader, Babatunde Adejumo Rufai, who painted a portrait on the participation of youths in the political space and the plan of his political party to give the youth a chance if they are given the mandate. Well, today the conversation is the same, but our guest is from another political party. We are all conversant with the not too young to run bill and how the chase began in 2016, and 2 years later, President Muhammadu Buhari signed the bill into law, thereby opening the space for legislative means in reducing the age required to occupy political office and allow young people and persons unrestrained participation in leadership positions. The bill seeks alteration in Section 65, Section 106, Section 131, and Section 177 of the Constitution of Nigeria, which is to reduce the age of running for elective positions for the House of Assembly and the House of Representatives from 30 years to 25-year-olds. Senate and governorship positions from 35 years to 30-year-olds, and office of the president from 40 to 30 years. And independent candidature in Nigeria. Yes, the not too young to run law has been operational since the past 3 years, but does that correlate with the reality on ground when we talk about youth participation or when we interrogate that topic? Our focus today is not just the place of youth in leadership position and the 2023 Lagos Gubernatorial race. Our guest is the spokesperson for Labour Party in Lagos State. Is Dakbo Adaramewa. But before we jump into our conversations with him, let's go on a break. And when we return, the business of the day commences. Do stay with us.
It takes a lot of guts to golf the way we do. That's why we are the tiger in the woods. High Impact 102.1 FM.
If it's public opinion, expert analysis, information that matters to you, we have it on record. Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. on High Impact 102.1 FM. Call us 0700-1021-1021. WhatsApp 0907-224-5018.
Let's change your life with music, news, drama, sports, fashion, and entertainment. Let's change your life.
Why?
Because we are your urban lifestyle station. High for 102.1 FM.
Welcome to On Record.
Every word matters.
What I want to do is to take Nigeria from consumption to production.
My name is Mr. Innocent Chuboma. I started by trading on motorcycle spare parts.
They really ask, how much is the Nigerian life worth?
Policing is everybody's business, not the business of the men on uniform alone.
We will establish student loan 4 years course, must be 4 years course.
When you dispense, a pharmacist dispenses a drug to a patient, the name of the drug must be written on the envelope.
On Record is a 45-minute program where we discuss the actions, inactions of government, ministries, departments, and agencies, as well as business and health affairs that shape our worldview.
Join us 9 a.m. every weekday on your urban lifestyle station, High Impact 102.1 FM. On Record.
Every word matters.
Welcome back and many thanks for joining us on the program. Do remember that you can participate on the program by calling 0700 1021 1021. You can send us WhatsApp messages on 0907 224 5018. We are live on Twitter at High Impact 1021 FM. We're also live on YouTube at High Impact 102.1 FM. I told you earlier that our conversation today borders on youth participation in leadership position and the 2023 Lagos Gubernatorial race. Our guest is the spokesperson for the Labour Party in Lagos, Dakbo Adaramewa. Welcome to On Record, Mr. Dakbo.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming. How would you assess the participation of Nigerian youth in politics?
I think we've seen an explosion recently in terms of the participation of young people in politics. More and more young people signed up to get their PVCs and are picking them up currently. We haven't seen a huge difference in, say, the amount of people who are running for elected office, and that's because of the numerous challenges that a lot of young people will face. Ascribing to that office, I would say, aspiring to that office. But definitely, it's not just Twitter anymore. It's not just social media. We're seeing people on ground attending rallies, unincentivized rallies. Let me add that, because we make this mistake of always talking about the crowd. A crowd can be bought. The current state of economics is so poor that if you offer people 1,500 or 2,000 and a bus from certain highly densely populated areas, you can fill out a stadium. It's just a matter of how much money you have to spend. And so that's not an indication of how much passion there is, among the people. But what we've seen is unincentivized rallies, people aspiring behind Obi, aspiring behind Mr. Gbadebo Road's rival, aspiring behind the Labour Party and seeing the vision that's been sold and a path to a different Nigeria. Okay,
we are going to focus on the Labour Party, most especially during the section, most especially Mr. GRV, and the second part of our conversation. But I haven't listened to the introduction. When I was speaking to the senior special assistant on the APC National Youth Leader, I asked him this question, and let me put that across to you. When President Muhammadu Buhari assented to the bill, Not Too Young to Run bill, one would have thought that the presidential candidate of some political parties or the gubernatorial candidate of some political parties would have been youth. In let's say, yes, probably in their late 30s or probably in their mid 30s. So it looks like our hopes were dashed.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was a surprise, because those of us who have been studying the political system within Nigeria know that, yes, the legal framework was part of the challenges, but it was in no way the entirety of the challenge that young people face. And so taking out the legal obstructions, shall we say, is a fantastic step in the right direction, but there's still other things that we have to do, look at, how candidates emerge through the political system, how candidates are selected, how democratic is that process, who are these delegates, where are they coming from. These are the kind of problems that we have within a lot of political parties that make it more difficult for young people, particularly young people who don't, shall we say, have access to the same resources as some of their competitors to actually go out there and win party tickets and then be able to run for office. But we've seen a resurgence of a lot of smaller parties that's giving some young people the opportunity to run and to strive for those positions.
Let me ask, what's responsible for this resurgence where the youth they seem to be forthcoming, and what was actually equally responsible for laying back before now?
I think what Nigeria's ruling class has been able to effectively do for decades now is lie to young people that there is no hope. You see, because the moment you take away hope, you take away the people's ability to even attempt, to make a difference. And so once that hope was taken away for so long, a lot of people just felt, well, what's the point? Why risk myself by going to vote? Why go through the stress of getting a PVC? Nothing is going to matter anyway. So this is the lie that they've been telling us for years. they know that it matters. They know that you coming out to vote is a huge threat to them. And so the easiest thing they can do is lie to these young people. Okay. And they were able to do that successfully. But what we've seen now is a candidate, that people believe in. People rallied around the OB campaign, and that brought with it a renewed sense of hope that, things under Labour will be different. And that's why we see a lot of young people now excited, talking about, going out to vote, picking up their PVCs. We see that hope has been brought to life. We saw something similar in 2015 during Buhari's first.
Yes, 2015.
Yeah, during that first election, we had that. I remember people were really excited. We thought, okay, here comes a disciplinarian who's going to fix the country, stamp out corruption. Okay. And we saw some of that. Young people really trying to get behind that. And again, their hopes were dashed against the rocks, as it turned out, over the next 8 years. But I believe we have found candidates under the Labour Party that can truly give us a new Nigeria.
Okay. According to data from the Electoral Umpire, the Independent National Electoral Commission, of the 93,469,008 voters categorized by age group, represents youth between 18 to 34 years old, which is the highest chunk of voters, and that's about 39.65%. How does your party and other parties, particularly the Labour Party, lay claim to being the party with many youth? Because like you referenced earlier on, when you go to rallies, you see lots of young people. They are there. Probably some of them have PVCs. Maybe some of them do not have PVCs. And one political party will criticize most especially your political party, that you lack structure at the ebb of society. But you are equally saying that you have a vibrant youth representation at the grassroots level. There's this contradiction. Would you want to straighten that out?
Yeah, I think it's a very easy tale to tell, but the numbers speak differently. I think what we had is, in the past, is a political system that was run primarily on the use of a lot of, shall we say, thugs, and leveraging that to market women and, putting pressure on these elements in society, who primarily were the main voters. They were the ones who were actually going out to vote. A lot of young people were staying at home on election day playing football, and so what they refer to as a structure is only one demographic. Do you understand? And now Labour is tapping into a new demographic, a demographic that equally has its own PVC, that equally, outnumbers even that demographic that they're talking about. So what they're talking about structure is they expect us as Labour Party to go into the gullies with them and use the methods that they are using. But we're selling hope, a vision for a new Nigeria. We're not there to force market women out of their stalls on days that we have our rallies. We're not there to use thugs to intimidate road transport workers and public transport drivers to come out for us, all those kind of things. Shut down the motor park, everybody go to our rally. No. That's a different type of structure, and that structure will fail. It will fail. You cannot coerce the people forever. And the very people who are upholding this structure, are they not the ones suffering right now? The people who are allegedly the structure, are they not the one who are primarily based in the cash economy?
There's an allegation against political parties that they pay, and you have equally upheld that part of the end, that some political parties pay youth to come to their rallies, to be seen, to fill up the stadium. Does your political party do that?
No, not at all. Not at all. We don't.
There is an allegation that it does that as well.
There will always be allegations in this sector, I guess. But we don't do that. We don't see the need to do that, and maybe that's why sometimes at our rallies it looks like it's not bursting at the seams with people, and that's because we don't play the same type of politics that I remember during the OB rally here, people were actually the ones buying themselves caps to wear, buying themselves t-shirts to wear. It got to the point that the demand for Labour, shall we say, armbands was so much that they were selling the PDP ones and the APC ones cheaper than they were the Labour Party ones. You see, in these rallies, people are putting their money where their mouth is. They're the ones coming out of their own free will. They're not being given T-shirts and all those kind of things. So we don't need that. We have a demographic. We have a structure in of itself, that will come out on election day and surprise the major political parties. And also, I think, like I mentioned, in the sense that, the structure that is always referred to, the structure is suffering. The structure is suffering under this lack of fuel, lack of cash. The structure that they are talking about, they are the ones suffering the most.
Okay, let me come in here. Whilst before 2016, and 2016 was the very year where they commenced the aggression for the signing of the mandate in the initiative in pushing the Not Too Young to Run bill went to another level. And 2018, Mr. President appended his signature. It has both global and international support from different countries, and it's a good thing that we are now at that particular part. But your political party, if at all you were given a mandate, does your political party have a plan that is structured and tailor-made for Nigerian youths? Because that is the question a lot of persons are asking now, and it doesn't look like most political parties have that, yours inclusive.
Okay, well, I'll give you, because I think in politics sometimes you look to the character of the individuals. So, for example, now Mr. Gbadebo Rose Viver, he's himself a youth.
Okay.
So there's no debating that. I work directly with him, and a number of us. We're all very young people who are passionate about Nigeria. I'll also give you an example now. Peter Obi came to Lagos. We had a meeting in Ikeja. And one of the questions he was asked was about regulations for bitcoins and a few other things. And the video is out there. And he just said, okay, well, I'm not too knowledgeable on this subject area, but I'm willing to work with individuals who understand it and come up with policy. And here's the important part. Now, immediately after that meeting, one of the leaders for that field was also on stage with Obi. He was called and asked to draft some of their ideas on what a solid policy framework would look like, or what they are looking at, right?
on
yes,
Bitcoin, cryptocurrency.
Yes, and to give that feedback straight to the aspirant himself. So you can see that direct engagement, the honesty, okay, I don't know enough, but come and tell me what you do know, and let me go and work on it and do my research. So you can see that direct involvement. There's no, most of the time our candidate is out here speaking to the people directly to show people that, listen, it's an us thing.
But is there a program tailor-made for the Nigerian youth? Okay, you've just mentioned one about the cryptocurrency. What about others? Are there others? Like occupying ministerial positions, if by chance your candidate emerges, looking at the sector of information technology, if it emerges, because these are sectors, looking at education, considering the education curriculum that we've been using in times past, and the one we should be using now, because all these are sensitive sectors and industry in Nigeria where we need to have vibrant young minds occupy that position to bring productive revolution to it. Does your political party have that?
Yes, very much so. You see, there's a lot of amazing and brilliant young people in Nigeria, but one thing we have to keep in mind is that what we need is a system that picks out the best of the best, because we're on the precipice as a nation, right? So we have to pick out the best individuals. So what we need is a clear, clean system that brings forward the best of society, not the ones who have been loyal or the ones who have pledged allegiance to anybody. And what we have in Labour right now is a party that's fair, that truly believes in fairness, justice, and equity, believes in equality and is driven by these ideals. And so within our ranks, in terms of when we are selecting ministerial positions, which is done by the aspirant, the governor himself, and the presidential candidate, there is going to be fairness and transparency, which gives young people their fairest chance. Okay. So you understand? And so we're going to be selecting people based on their competence, and there's a lot of young people that will be able to come to those positions, which typically would have been exempt, because they haven't been in the political system, they haven't been feigning loyalty, and they haven't promised to bring dividends to anybody. But what we have is a system wherein there's fairness, which will allow young people move up and aspire to this position, and not just as a PA or SA. All those ones are very nice, but usually it's just a way to give you something to be eaten, really.
Okay. We're still having a conversation with the spokesperson for Labour Party in Lagos State, Dakbo Adaramewa, and we've been talking about the place of youth in political positions and the 2023 Lagos State gubernatorial race. Looking at it from the prism of Labour Party will be the second half of our conversation. We're going to go on a break right now, but before then, I want to let you know you can call into the program and participate. 0700 1021 1021. You can equally send WhatsApp messages to 0907 224 5018. We are live on YouTube at High Impact 102.1 FM. We're also live on Twitter at High Impact 1021 FM. We're going to break, and when we return, On Record continues. Do stay with us.
Beyond the everyday conversations, away from the noise and rumors, despite the trends, every word counts, and it stays on record. Every weekday, 9 a.m. on your urban lifestyle station, High Impact 102.1 FM. Call us 0700 1021 1021. WhatsApp 0907 224 5018.
Let's change your life with music, news, drama, sports, fashion, and entertainment. Let's change your life.
Why?
Because we are your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM. This is radio like you have never known it. High Impact Radio 102.1 FM.
If it's public opinion, expert analysis, information that matters to you, we have it on record. Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. on High Impact 102.1 FM. Call us 0700 1021 1021. WhatsApp 0907 224 5018.
Welcome back. Many thanks for joining us on the program. The numbers to call are 0700 1021 1021. You can send WhatsApp messages on 0907 224 5018. Now to the second half of our conversation that has to do with the gubernatorial race in Lagos 2023 elections. A brief introduction. Lagos is a cosmopolitan city inhabited by over 18 million people. It is also the commercial nerve center of the most populous black nation in the world, Nigeria. Of this population, eligible voters will go to the polls come the 15th of March to elect their preferred candidates. According to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, 2023 general elections final list for state elections. There are 15 candidates representing their political parties vying for gubernatorial states of Lagos. Which of these parties will be able to change the narrative? Since democratic rule in 1999, spanning 24 years, the Action Congress of Nigeria, popularly called Action Congress, which was the stronghold in Lagos and other southwestern states, through a merger with Congress for Progressive Change, the All Nigerian People's Party, and the All Progressives Grand Alliance merged to form the All Progressives Congress. The APC has been and still in charge of government and governance in Lagos State. In 2023 general elections, one of the candidates vying for the gubernatorial seat in Lagos State is 39-year-old Mr. Gbadebo Rhodes Viver of Labour Party, I beg your pardon, popularly called GRV. In 2017, he ran under the platform of Kowa Party for Ikeja Local Government Area Chairmanship. In 2019, he contested for the Senate seat to represent Lagos West under the PDP and narrowly lost to the incumbent Senator Solomon Adeola, polling 243,516 votes to Mr. Adeola's 323,817 votes. The spokesperson for Labour Party in Lagos State, Dakbo Adaramewa, is still here with me, and for the second half of the program, our conversation goes this way. What makes GRV, that Mr. Gbadebo Rhodes Viver, different from other political candidates in other political parties? It was gathered that he was a member of the main opposition party, the PDP, which is one of the nominees gearing up for the contest under the PDP, but he pulled out of the primaries even before it was held and joined Labour Party. Words have it that he was no match for Olajide Adediran, who is the gubernatorial candidate for the PDP in Lagos State. Was that the case?
Okay, well, no, in short. What we discovered was that the interests of Lagosians, the interests of our campaign was best served within the Labour Party as opposed to the PDP. We had some issues in the way some of the internal politics was being conducted, which is not new, because I think we can see that across. Even Mr. Obi himself was a member of the PDP and moved, So it's not a matter of, and I think when we defeat the other two parties come election day, we will see that clearly the Labour Party is here to stay and here to win. And then also I think you asked the question as to
yes, if he was okay. Yes, let me move to the next question. I think you've answered the first one. From research, your gubernatorial candidate, Mr. Gbadebo Rhodes Vivour, has not been recorded in history occupying public office in Nigeria. And most people consider him a greenhorn, because if you're coming into the political space to govern a state like Lagos, if you go through governing Lagos State, people attach the fact that you have the capacity to even govern a country, because Lagos is not just only a very, very sound metropolitan city, but because of its vibrance. The commercial nerve center in the country. If you get out of this country, you tell people you are a Nigerian, first name is, are you from Lagos? So if you are bringing someone to come and govern a state like Lagos, it mustn't be a greenhorn. Your candidate is considered a greenhorn. Do you have a different opinion?
Yeah, I find that to be an interesting suggestion. The incumbent and the past two governors of Lagos State held no elected public office prior to the governorship. They were, I think one was a civil servant. They held offices, but not elected offices. So I think we need to get out of the idea that somehow I need to first become a senator before I can become a governor. It's about the capacity of the individual. Now, Mr. Gbadebo Rhodes Vivour is an MIT trained architect, who has several qualifications in policy, who has been on the political scene, like you mentioned, for going on, almost 20 years now, active, involved, a grassroots man who's connected and knows the experience of the average Nigerian. And I think we should be grateful that he hasn't been in this corrupt system. So we do need fresh ideas. We need somebody who has a different vision for what Lagos can be. It's about the capacity of the individual. And I believe without a doubt that Mr. Gbadebo Rhodes Vivour
has this capacity of his been tested somewhere else, like where he used to work professionally, career-wise, if it has been demonstrated and is something that the Lagosians should know about?
Oh, definitely. He has been a successful architect for going on 20 plus years now. After leaving MIT, he decided to return to Nigeria and has been running an architectural firm successfully, I would add. We're not bankrolled by anybody. A lot of what we spend and what we invest, it's the result of the hard work of Mr. Gbadebo Rhodes Vivour himself. And it's testament to the fact that he has built a successful business to the point where he has, the funds to engage in politics, and not just engage in politics, but in a meaningful way as well. Okay.
What should Lagosians expect from Gbadebo Rhodes if given the mandate?
We should expect clean, clear, and honest politics. You see, there's something that people underestimate, which is how much of a difference it makes when right at the top we have people who are committed to fairness, who are committed to transparency. It transforms everything. It transforms everything, So what we can expect is a government that is concerned about its people, To my knowledge, the current governor has not really even spoke out harshly about the things that his citizens are going through, This is something that we need. By now, a governor should be stepping out and say, you know what, the central bank is getting it wrong. Lagosians are suffering. My people are suffering. There's no petrol, there's no money. People need to be able to put the people before their personal politics, and that's what we're going to get from Labour. That's what we're going to get from Gbadebo Rose Viper. A person who can put your own interest before their selfish personal political interest,
Okay. Some of these problems you just mentioned, I think they are very, very recent, even though they seem to have their track records in time past. But let's talk about infrastructural development. When you look at Lagos currently, the ruling All Progressives Congress, or should I say the ACN, which metamorphosed into the All Progressives Congress in Lagos State, you cannot undermine or ignore their work when we talk about massive infrastructural building across the country, how the roads are being opened and how new roads are being built somewhere else. We are not saying they're doing fantastically and excellently well, but do you think what is your party or Mr. Rhodes Viva going to do if he was given the mandate, still looking at infrastructure in Lagos State?
Okay, so there's a couple of things I will address there. Now, one is if you give me 5 billion naira and I construct you a 2-bedroom flat in Oshodi, I've mismanaged the money, right? So it's not an achievement. You shouldn't give me a round of applause because I spent excessively on a very small infrastructural project. We can talk about the Lagos Rail and a few other things that have ballooned budgets. Okay, so let's not applaud that. Yes, you're doing something that's good, but at what cost? And when is it coming? Is it not a bit late? Couldn't you have done better? That's a different conversation. The second thing I don't want us to lose track of is there's a talk about some of these challenges, the petrol, this are all relatively new. I think it beacons to something fundamentally wrong with the system, because if we listen to what the governor of Kaduna State has been going on TV and saying, and the presidential candidate himself, it seems that they're implying that the president is not in control of the country. We've heard those rumors before. We all heard that there was a cabal that's running Aso Rock. But now, even
it's obvious that the president is in control of the country.
No, because the party members themselves are saying that we had a conversation with Mr. President about this, that, and he did something else. Mr. President has been deceived. So clearly, he's not fully in control, and I think that's what we get when we elect individuals to an office that demands a lot of energy, and we elect men who are old, who might not have the capacity. Even though their intentions are in the right place, if you don't have the capacity to execute, then you can't really deliver. And that's why we need to move past this men of old and move into something new. People who have the capacity to deliver, who have the strength to stay on top of things, and understand truly what is going on at the grassroots level. That's very important. One of the things that we have promised is improvement of the transportation networks as well. Because what we need to do is try and bring down the cost of houses within Lagos State, right? And the easiest way to do that is give people easy access, to the outskirts of Lagos, the places where land is still abundant, so that people can build and develop cheap. Our hopes is to build thousands of homes within the first few years so that we can meet the housing crisis. I think there's a deficiency of about 60 million homes or something like that. So we have great plans in terms of infrastructural development, but more than anything, what we're bringing to these plans, because your plans are good and important, what we're bringing to these plans is honesty, transparency, and fairness.
You made reference to expanding and rejigging the transportation sector. Do you remember that the Bus Rapid Transit initiative of the ruling party is an initiative that even other states have come to emulate and copy that particular structure? Is there something new you want to do, your party intends to do to that initiative, if given the mandate? What would that be? Is there something to be
Firstly,
corrected?
is to improve upon what has been done in terms of the networks of buses that we're using, and then also the inclusion of more and more the completion of the rail system. I know, yes, Mr. President came down to launch something, but that's only one line, and it's taken years. So our focus is to finish all the other lines of the rail, and then also to develop the bus rapid transport system in terms of expanding the areas that we are getting to, because as it is, it's not all areas within Lagos that covered, and particularly improving the last mile form of transportation as well. So those are just some basic things that we're going to do and improve on. It's not our focus is not, we are not at war with any particular party. We are focused on improving the lives of Nigerians. So if improving the lives of Nigerians means we build upon what the opposition has started, by all means, we will continue. We will not throw it away because it was started by the opposition party. We will simply bring some sanity to these systems, improve them, expand them, and set a new course for Lagos State.
Okay, you are still listening to On Record on your urban lifestyle station, High Impact 102.1 FM. We're live on Twitter at High Impact 102.1 FM. We are also live on YouTube at High Impact 102.1 FM. You can call 0700 221 0700 1021 1021. You can send WhatsApp message on 0907224518. Mr. Dakbo, the issues about hoodlums in Lagos is a very, very concerning matter that demands attention. Does Mr. Gbadebo Road Survivor have any plan for that? And how does he intend to achieve it if he has such plans?
I think it's restoring all functions of the states to agencies of the states. No more Agbero tax collectors. No more, empowering of Agberos, to carry out some basic functions. You still see it, you see a truck going past and you see one man just chasing it with, with a vest, those kind of crazy things. They're acting as agencies of the state. Now, all that does is it emboldens them. By the time you have these individuals who have been through no formal training, acting as tax collectors, you are showing them that they are now part of government. Do you understand? And they operate with the arrogance of feeling that they are untouchable. And it's a simple no. You're not an agent of the government. And if we want to engage these people, right, and in order to create jobs, let's just say because they know the lay of the land, it is after they have been through formal training, they've passed the criminal background check, they have been given uniforms and identifications and understand how they are to execute those things. We don't just gather a bunch of men and say, you are the Omonile, do collect this tax. No, it's not done. You can't empower these people. If you empower them, it's very hard for you to tell them where to stop. And we've seen it all around Lagos now. They will just put sticks on the road and it's not that police is not far. But the police themselves feel as though, okay, well, during the election, you use these boys as agents of the state, So, do we now start arresting them? If we arrest them, more than likely, they'll make a few phone calls and somebody will pull them out. So it's about empowering the police to know that, you are the ones here to enforce the law and ensuring that we no longer have any of these.
Mr. Dakbo, these things are easier said than done. So persons, Lagosians, or Nigerians listening would like to know how you intend to achieve this. I know you've mentioned the part of training. Okay, so if you talk about training these persons without that formal knowledge or formal education and bring them into the system, would that not be the same? Because it looks like, would that not be maintaining the status quo? Because it looks like that's what we have now. We still see them put on uniforms and carry sticks around.
No. It's not. It's not in any way. It's a total disbandment of the old system, and then looking at the people, the individuals who were part of the old system, and saying we're not just going to throw you again. Remember, we're putting the people before the politics. If we put the politics first, what we say is you were part of the old regime. We're going to throw you away. We're going to lock the doors, and we're not going to give you, we're not going to involve you in anything. There's no jobs for you. We just put you back on the street, right? But we are not about that. We're about putting the people before the politics. We understand that, yes, there might be some people there who can be useful to the government, who can, come into formal employment and transition and move out of, because at the end of the day, let's be honest, right? We can't wave a magic wand and get rid of all the Agberos in Lagos State.
Okay.
It is far better for us to find a place in which they can be useful, under certain parameters, and making them understand that you are not the law. You are not a representative of the state, in as much as you have not been officially given any real title, and you've not gone through the requisite training. So it's about that kind of direct involvement. Now, we say these things, but nobody's expecting it to be easy. Nobody's expecting it to be a walk in the park. But we know that we can achieve these things.
Okay, I want to take you back to the conversation you had about when you were making reference to the transportation sector in Lagos. I would like to take you back to last month, the Lagos State Traffic Management Agency. Is there something in that particular agency, in the way it executes its daily task, that needs correction? And if that is, what is that, and what's your party intend to do?
We need to firstly stamp out corruption. That's the major problem with a lot of these enforcement agencies. It's really the corruption, using that to terrorize the Gaussians, terrorize motorists, extort money from them. Once we can stamp out the corruption, these are very useful tools of government. They help us follow the laws of the road, because one thing we have to understand is the more people adhere to the rules of the road, the quicker we can all get home. But the moment one or two people are doing their wuru, it creates, yes, it gives them a little bit of headway, but it creates a problem in and of itself. So it's about redesigning those systems, and individuals being held accountable. A lot of us in the Labour Party come from a corporate background. In a corporate society, we do not understand how somebody cannot perform, or an agency they are ruling, or shall we say they are running, is underperforming, and they are still in position. In the corporate world, we simply change you. You see, and so that is the kind of, we get in place the right people to lead these organizations and give them a goal.
Okay.
If you cannot achieve this by so and so time, there will be consequences, and we follow through with that.
Okay.
Hello?
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. We have a call. Good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning. My name is Mr. Benson.
Mr. Benson, okay. Where are you calling us from, please?
I'm calling from Ayobo.
Oh, what's your take on the program?
It's a good program, and I love it. I just want to ask the spokesperson for LP, for Labour Party Lagos State.
Please go on.
Concerning the news about distribution of electoral material through MCO Luomo by the INEC in Lagos State. I just want to know their take. Is it something that is well accepted by the party, or is it something that some people should be worried about?
Mr. Benson, where did you get your information from that INEC would not give the distribution of its materials to an individual? That's not an institution. We remember from past elections that the Nigerian military and the Nigerian police assist in conveying INEC's electoral materials to different parts of the country. It's not given to individuals. I don't think that's the right information, Mr. Benson.
The information on the news, according to Gazette, the People's Gazette, say the Lagos Park.
I think that information is incorrect, Mr. Benson. I think it's incorrect.
Are you sure that you said it's incorrect?
I'm very sure it's incorrect. Thank you very much for your call, Mr. Benson.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Benson. I hope I definitely hope it's incorrect, that there's no substance to it.
Yeah.
But it's normal during election time for rumors to fly.
Yes.
But if I told you that I would be wholly and completely surprised if something like that happened, that would be a lie, because the system has been abused in worse ways in the past.
I want to hold Mr. Benson's question as something that's very, very incorrect. So our time is fast spent, and before we go, I want you to answer a particular question, and that's with the popularity of Mr. Gbadebo Road Survivor is not as vivacious as people intend to see it. So I need you to quickly talk on that before we.
No. I think it is. I think we have seen a growth in our campaign. As of now, our banners and posters are all over Lagos. You'll probably notice them as well. And we have a very active support base, people who are fully behind. There's a lot of people that don't, particularly a lot of, say, market women and traders who feel that the environment they're in is such that they cannot stand proudly or stand out, and say, yes, we are fully labor, because they fear consequences, Okay. We have had cases of our canvassers being attacked. And so what we have is a lot of people who know what they're going to do in their hearts. A lot of people that engage with us online, a lot of people that attend our rallies. And I think
those online support translates into physical votes.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I think without a doubt, it does translate, and a lot of people are getting more and more awake. And I also have to say that the prevailing economic circumstances, although very terrible, would be somewhat advantageous to us as opposition parties, because it is a glaring indictment and evidence of the incompetencies of the ruling party.
Okay. Thank you so much. My conversation on record this morning has been with Dakpo Adaramewa, the spokesperson for Labour Party in Lagos State. And it's in the series of our youth and political office occupation and the participation in the polity in Nigerian politics. Very much. Thank you, Mr. Dakpo, for your time this morning on record.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's on record where every word matters. I am Oyin Krumale. Until I come your way again tomorrow, do stay blessed.
Welcome to On Record.
Every word matters.
What I want to do is to take Nigeria from consumption to production.
My name is Mr. Innocent Chuboma. I started by trading on motorcycle spare parts.
They really ask, how much is the Nigerian life worth?
Policing is everybody's business, not the business of the men on uniform alone.
We will establish